Hello, I'm Emma Green, the tennis elbow queen and host of Your Healing Team podcast. In this episode, we are going to explore the vagus nerve and how that could be potentially stopping you from healing. So let's dive in. So what is the vagus nerve? So the vagus nerve is part of the nervous system. And if you've listened to any of my other podcasts, you've probably heard me talk about the nervous system before. And that's because if you've been experiencing pain for longer than 3 months, you most likely have an activation of the nervous system. You most likely have changes in the nervous system that are stopping you from healing or slowing that process down. And so the vagus nerve is a big part of this, because the vagus nerve is the main nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest, digest, heal, recover, relax system. That's the flip side of the coin to the sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight response. And often what people find is when they have had pain or they've been suffering with pain for longer than 3 months, the body goes into this fight or flight response. And the reason for that is when your body is getting these pain messages. Pain is basically your harm alarm. It's your body's way of indicating that, hey, something's not right. We need to fix this. And if you were to grab hold of a hot pan, you get that pain in your hand, you would let go. Basically, they're the signals that your body are listening to say, how can I escape this pain? How can I prevent further damage from happening to the tissues? And when you are suffering with chronic pain or you're in a chronic state of ongoing pain, that can be very confusing to the body, because how does it get away from chronic pain? How can it change that? It's very challenging for it to do that. And so what happens is the body goes into fight or flight. It activates the sympathetic nervous system, which is a survival mechanism. Do I fight or do I run away? And when the body is in survival mode like that, it's not going to be able to focus on healing a soft tissue injury like a tennis elbow or a sore back or an arthritic knee or whatever it is. It becomes very challenging for the body to heal itself, and things can change very slowly. So that's the role that it plays within that. Central sensitization is this phenomenon where we get this hypersensitivity of the central nervous system. So we're thinking the brain and the spinal cord. That's the central nervous system. The nerves that come out of the spine and go all the way down to the tips of your fingers or all the way down to the tips of your toes. That's the peripheral nervous system. So brain and spinal cord, they're the central nervous system. And we can get central sensitization, so a hypersensitivity of the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord. And what that can lead to is the slightest little touch can trigger a pain response, because the nervous system is hypersensitized. It's waiting for those pain messages. It's ready to respond. And so we get this, what's called hyperanalgesia, which is this heightened pain response. And that is showing sensitivity of the central nervous system, and that needs correcting, that needs reversing. That shows that your body is in this fight or flight, and we need to reverse that. We need to switch off the sympathetic nervous system. We need to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So what are ways that we can do that? There are ways that we know that can reverse the chronic pain changes that occur in the brain. There are ways that we can stimulate the vagus nerve. And both of these can be done through meditation. They can be done through relaxation, exposure to nature, getting out into nature, forest bathing. If you've heard other podcasts of mine, you may have heard about forest bathing. These things can be very good at resetting the brain, rebooting the brain, and allowing your nervous system to switch from the sympathetic fight or flight to the parasympathetic rest, digest, and heal, which is where we want it to be. That's where you're going to get optimum healing, most efficient healing, fastest healing. So if you're stuck in fight or flight, your body's fighting against itself. It's really working against itself. You are going to struggle like anything to heal. You're going to feel like you're banging your head against a wall because nothing seems to be working, or things are changing incredibly slowly. And that's because your body is not in the right state to focus on healing. It's focusing on survival. It's not focusing on healing at all. So there are other ways of switching into the parasympathetic nervous system. The Empowered Relief class is one of those. This is a class that was developed by pain psychology doctors at Stanford University over 10 years ago now, and has been extensively researched for the last decade, showing how it can create these changes in the central nervous system, how it can switch the body from the sympathetic state to the parasympathetic rest and digest, which is where we want it. And that is a 2-hour class. It's a live class. And within that 2-hour class, you learn 4 different strategies that calm the nervous system, that are going to help to switch you from sympathetic to parasympathetic. You're going to gain control of that. And people can get incredibly fast results with that. It's an amazing class. As I say, you learn 4 strategies that you can then start from day one implementing, and the consistency is key. You have become very well practiced at sending those pain messages. Obviously, you're not doing it on purpose. It's just what has happened over the time that you've been experiencing pain. Your body gets very used to those messages, and we have to unlearn those pathways. We have to weaken those pathways, and we have to strengthen different pathways that are going to lead you towards healing. And that's what this class delivers. You can learn more about it in the show notes. I teach the class once a month. It's open to anybody. So even though I obviously predominantly work with tennis elbow clients, the Empowered Relief class is basically for anybody who's in pain. So whether it's back pain, knee pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, fibromyalgia, pain from medical conditions, whatever it may be, this class works because it is not any type of condition specific. It's purely about chronic pain. It's purely about calming the nervous system and getting that shift. And it really explains it in a very deep, meaningful way, makes it very logical, very easy to understand. You know what's going on in your body. You learn what's happening physiologically and how to make those changes. Most importantly, how you can make those changes moving forwards. So I would love to invite you to the next class. They take place once a month. You can learn about the next class at my website, tenniselbowqueen.com/empowered relief, or check out the link in the show notes or the description below. And you'll be able to learn about Empowered Relief. If you feel like that's going to be something that can be helpful for you, feel free to sign up. I would love to see you in class. And if you have questions about it, don't hesitate to reach out. Let me know. If you have a question, I'm not really sure whether it's going to be right for me, please reach out. Let's have a conversation and get you to the right place. Because if this is something that is going to be beneficial for you, I would love you to do it sooner rather than later. I taught this class earlier this week, and one of the participants got such amazing results just even on that first day. And so I checked in with them the following day, and they were just saying, I am so glad I did this early on in my therapy journey, because I see it just makes such a difference. And it really just seemed to be almost the key that unlocked the healing. That's how I describe this class. It is the key that unlocks the healing, because if your body stays stuck in fight or flight, you're just going to battle against yourself. And that is incredibly frustrating and challenging. Whereas if you can make those changes physiologically, your body is open to healing. It's more accepting of healing. You're going to find things a whole lot easier. This class is proven to allow medical treatments, interventions, procedures to work better because your body is in a better state to accept them. It blows my mind every time I teach it. It's so good. So if you have questions on that, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to see you in the next class. If you are interested in joining, you can check it out at my website, tenniselbowqueen.com/empowered relief, or the links in the show notes or the description. And please don't hesitate to reach out. If you do have a question, I love questions. So please reach out. And I'll see you on the next episode. Take care. Bye.